What's going on, party people? Back with some Little Cup World Cup action. That's right, and we're here at the finals. Yeah, we got Brazil versus U.S. West and Midwest. We have the U.S. West Midwest team from our perspective throughout this video, and Brazil from the opposing perspective throughout this one. And this is it. This only happened just the other day. This only finished the other day, so this is a pretty fresh commentary. I am McFlurry. Thanks for joining. I have lots of Little Cup action on my YouTube channel. Be sure to go check that out. And leave a like and all that if you enjoy this video. And yeah, so really quick recap, because I know that this video is going to get pretty long, so I just want to save the blah blah if I can. Little Cup World Cup is best of 8. So if we end up with a 4-4 tie, then we'll go to a tiebreaker, of course. But yeah, best of 8. 8 different gamers from US West, Midwest, and 8 from Brazil. And we're looking at Little Cup Gens 4 to 9 with 3 games of Generation 9 and 1 of 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. So there you have it. And this is it. This is the finals. So both semifinals matches are already on the YouTube page if you want to go check that out. And the first one here, we have Taz from US West Midwest against Fate 1Q, who I'm just going to call Fate throughout this portion of the video here, and we're looking at an ORAS Little Cup match here. So Taz bringing a Diglett, which is surely Arena Trap, likely with Fates as well here. An Arkin, which has the Defeatist ability, so if that thing gets below half HP, it's going to be severely weakened. You have an Abra, a Mindfu, a Pawniard, and a Fungus. So overall, pretty offensive looking team with a few defensive Pokemon that can switch in here and there, but for the most part, pretty offensive looking. As for Fate, similar looking structure as well. In fact, you see some similar Pokemon there in the Diglett and the Arkin and the Mindfu and the Pawniard and the Fungus. Yeah, so I mean all Pokemon except for one, if I counted correctly there. Bringing the Fletchling. Now the Fletchling, in all likelihood, has the Gale Wings ability, right? So this thing does have priority flying type moves. And this is Generation 6, so it hasn't quite been nerfed yet. So that means priority acrobatics, priority roost, things like that. More importantly, priority roost, as recovery is so crucial in Little Cup. Let's get into this one here. So we got lead Mindfu from Fate, and we have a lead Mindfu from Taz. Let's see what we get out of this here. Fake out turn 1 there, 13%. I think that's probably a faster Fu from Taz here. And then knockoff crit on the follow-up here. As, yeah, Fate does the same thing there. And I'm starting to think that, yeah, Taz has the faster Fu here. And Fate just U-turns out of there. Though that could have been a speed tie each time. I doubt it. I think that was probably a fast Fu versus slow Fu. In comes the Arkin as the Fletchling Slitch in for Fate here. And then U-turns right on out of there. Gets a bit of chip on the Arkin. In comes Pawniard. We see some rocks here. Archin's scared out here as, yeah, no, it's just an Iron Head here. Big damage on the Fu, which lost its Violate earlier. Gets a Fake Out off on the Pawniard. What kind of Pawn are we looking at here? Fearing Choice Scarf switching into Fungus there. They go for it again. That does a lot to the Fungus as well. Fake going into their own Fungus on a Spore turn. Yep, it's not going to do anything, of course. A bit of a... The customary Fungus v Fungus showdown portion of the video here. Just exchanging some Sludge Bombs. And, oh, okay, Fate getting out of there a little bit early. Usually it's 10 turns of that. Mindfu coming in here on a Synthesis turn, and then U-turns right on out. Perhaps trying to bait the Spore. Fungus comes back in. Nope, the Sludge Bomb not falling for that. Now, do we get the 10 turns of Fungus action, as I was promised? We might. Both players exchanging some Sludge Bombs. We're going to see some Synthesis. No, back into Mindfu on a Synthesis turn. Taz is just staying put here with the Fungus. Gets an Acrobatics off. That does a lot of damage, especially since this Mindfu already lost its item. But it is going to get the Spore across here. Fletchling's coming out here for Fate. Arkin switching in for Taz. Pawniard coming right back out here. Which again, suspecting this might be Choice Scarf. It sets up a sub, actually. So Diglett's going to come out here on a balloon. As the Arkin fires off an Earthquake, it's not going to do anything. So that was a good play there by Fate. Gets a Rock Slide off. Going to break the sub. What's the Arkin going to do here to pop the balloon? Acrobatics. Gets the Diglett low. Doesn't knock it out, though. Surprisingly. Mindfu comes out here. As the Diglett sets up a sub. Okay, it's just enough HP to pull that off. And then gets an Earthquake off. Doesn't kill. So Mindfu's going to have to break the sub here with a U-turn. Diglett coming out here for Taz. Also on a balloon. As this Diglett's just going to go for beat up here. The Archon was asleep. Or the Mindfu was asleep, right? So yeah. We're only going to see 5 hits from that beat up. As Taz is able to knock that Diglett out with an Earthquake of their own. Here's the Pawniard yet again. Confirmed Choice Scarf knocks that thing out. That's what he's suspected here. Pawniard coming out here for Taz. Mindfu for Fate. As Taz sets up Stealth Rocks with their own Pawniard here. Aber coming in. Fungus for Fate. What's gonna happen here? Yeah, you don't want to get out of there. Don't want to take a Psychic. Pawniard coming right back out here. A little bit of an obvious play, though. Oh, I thought maybe Taz would mix it up, but they do not. Another Psychic there. Clicks Protect here. They're using a lot of their timer. Oh, got really low on the timer there, too. Fires off an Iron Head. Fungus coming back out here. Maybe predicting the switch here into Pawniard for Taz. Back into Fungus here. Oh, Hidden Power Fire, it's looking like. As this Fungus is able just to synthesis up a little bit. Another Sludge Bomb. And then Giga Drain, maybe predicting a switch there. Maybe not, didn't want to use more PP. In case this interaction happens a little bit more here. Synthesis up. Exchanging Sludge Bombs. Yeah, man, this exciting Fungus action here. Pawniard coming out here for Fate on the Synthesis turn. Really wants to knock this thing off, I can tell. There it is. Connects, gets a crit on top of it too, loses the Violite. Giga Drain's going to do some damage to that Pawniard there. It's in range of another knockoff, so right back out into Fungus for Fate here. It's going to be able to deal with that thing a little bit better. They have a little showdown here. Here's the Mindfu. Gets a Fake Out off on Fate's Fungus here. U-turns on out of there. Taz switching back into their own Fungus. Yeah, you can see the Sludge Bomb's doing a lot more now. That doesn't have its Violite. Can't just have the little Fungus showdown going on there. In comes the Archon on HP Fire. Not below half just yet. Sets up a sub though, nonetheless. Gets its Berry Juice right back up to full HP. Giga Drain's good to break it, but Archon kind of came out on top that turn a little bit. Fate going into their own Archon. On in Acrobatics. Oh, that just drops from a crit. Crazy. Here's the Pawniard for Fate. Again, Choice Scarf. Fu for Taz. On the Iron Head. That's a 2-hit KO though. It's gonna get a Fake Out off first, but Fake Out crit at that, which is nice. That chip might really need to add up on that Pawniard there. Goes in their own Pawniard. Which revealed Stealth Rocks earlier. So I'm not thinking this is Choice Scarf. Switching out just in case. Just for the Iron Head their own on the Fungus. This thing lost its Violate, right? No, it did not. Get the Spore off. Mindfu coming in here for Fate. And another Sludge Bomb. This one lost its Violate though. Yes, it did. Way early on in the match. Fungus coming back out for Fate here. Pretty slow and steady little cut match here. Another Fungus showdown here. Just exchanging some Sludge Bombs. Trying to dodge some crits, of course. The Tazwin's a speed tie here. And does not, actually loses it. So we see a Fungus go down here for Taz. Here's the Pawniard again. Mindfu coming back out. Still asleep. It's a big Iron Head off. And then gets the follow-up KO. 4 Pokemon left for Taz. 3 for Fate. Into the Choice Scarf Pawniard again. What's this thing threatening? In comes the Mindfu. Starting a Brick Break. I knew that thing got Brick Break. And is able to knock it out with 2-hit KO. Wonder why they didn't go for the Fake Out there. Because why not, right? Fungus switching in as the Archon comes in for Taz. Gets an Earthquake off. Able just to revenge kill with something else. This Archon's looking pretty clean here. But Poniard, remember, his choice scarf, so probably going to want to... Oh, just stays in, sacks the Arcan, okay. Maybe this Abra's got a sash. We see the Poniard come back out for Taz here. Takes an Iron Head. No flinch. Gets the Iron Head KO of its own. Fletchling switching in here for Fate. Last Pokemon. Takes a knockoff. Gets the SD up. Okay, is that going to be enough? Roost. Oh, I knew the Iron Head crit was coming. I said it in my head, and I was like, yeah, it's going to happen. And that's GG. So there you have it. I mean, if knockoff did that much on no item, I mean, maybe the crit didn't matter. I don't know. Someone let me know in the comments. Did the crit matter there? I'm trying to do the math here. It would have been close either way, but yeah, there you have it. So Taz getting the point there for US Midwest, who are up 1-0 at this point. Let's get into the next match here. All right, next up we have a Gen 5 Little Cup match between Luthier and Envy. Luthier from US West Midwest and Envy from Brazil. Let's get into it here. So yeah, US Midwest up 1-0 at this point here, going into this Black and White Little Cup match here. By the way, I am covering these matches in order in which they happened. So yeah, at this point in the week, or last week's matchups, US West Midwest was up 1-0. And we'll see if there's any twists and turns throughout this journey throughout. So both players bringing similar looking teams, very similar Pokemon, just like we saw in the last battle there. Both of them have Mindfu, both of them have a Ghastly, both of them have a Diglett, Porygon, and then a couple offensive threats as well. In that Luthier has a Staryu, which offers Rapid Spin support, and an Omnimite, which can either be Hazard Setting, could also be a Shell Smash Sweeper. On a team like this, I don't know, tough to say. Honestly, I feel like I say that every single time I see an Omnimite. As for Envy, bringing the Abra, which could end up being the difference maker here. I don't see a Psychic Resist on Luthier's side here. So, yeah, we'll see if that ends up being playing a part here. And, of course, another Poniard. We saw a lot of Poniard action in the last match here. Let's see how this one does with weakened knockoffs, as this is Generation 5. Let's get into it here. Ghastly lead from Envy. And a Ghastly lead from Luthier. Okay, not seeing the Mindfu leads here. Maybe both players predicting the Mindfu lead. Envy going into his own. So Porygon comes out here, traces the Regenerator, Luthier that is, into their Ghastly as this Mindfu clicks U-turn. Good play. A little bit of swishing into it. Do we see the Abra? No, we see the Poniard. So Luthier could be a little bit trapped here. Just sacks it to a Night Slash. Maybe a bit of a prediction game there with the Pursuits. Diglett coming out for Luthier here, looking to get the revenge kill with the Uranium Trap. It's actually a Choice Scarf. Poniard is able to get a big hit off before it drops to an Earthquake. But this Diglett appears to be a Violite. In comes the Mindfu for Envy. Staryu coming out here for Luthier on a U-turn. Get some chip. Porygon coming out here for Envy. Traces Natural Cure, of course. Case the Staryu wants to go for a status move. Instead going into Mindfu. On a Psychic. It's good damage. Very good damage. It's a 2-hit KO. Ghastly coming out here for Envy. Not risking the high jump kick, of course. Goes right for the U-turn. Porygon coming out here. What's this Ghastly going to do here? Switching into Mindfu. He gets the T-Wave off. That's great. Help deal with that Mindfu a bit. Psychic's looking like a 2-hit KO. Knocks off that thing's a Violite beforehand, of course. And the Fu switches out. Envy going to their own Porygon. Traces the Levitate, which it traced from the Ghastly prior. And just goes for the T-Wave again, predicting a switch. Good play. Mindfu coming out for Luthier on a full Paraturn. Still threatening the high jump kick. Probably going to see a U-turn here, though. No, we see a sub. Okay. Interesting. What's this Mindfu going to click here? In comes the Fu for Envy on a Payback. Payback crit as well. I'm not doing too much either way, though. Ghastly coming back out here. On the high jump kick. Okay. Crash. There we go. I was kind of expecting that to happen eventually. Here's the Fu again for Envy. On the Payback. I'd probably just... Oh, okay. Goes for it this time. I was gonna say, maybe I'd just be spamming payback at this point just to play it safe with the Foo, but clicking it here, so some real mind games going on here. Will they or won't they switch into Ghastly? I think the Ghastly is gonna come out here, yes. And we see the payback again, okay. Ghastly gonna break the sub with a Shadow Ball. And then Luthier just U-turn it out of there, get some regen. Here's the Diglett. Ghastly's not trapped as it is a floaty mon, but still gonna sack it to a beat up either way. Here's the Diglett for Envy. This one's on a balloon. Oh, but Luthier wins the speed tie, goes for the Memento here. Are we gonna see a Shell Smashing Omnimite? I think we might. Here it is. It's gonna be clicked here. Goes for the Earthquake. Doesn't do too much at all with those drops. There's the Shell Smash. Are we going to see a Sucker Punch from this Diglett just as a parting gift? I think we might. No, we don't. Just drops to a Surf. Luthier might have this in the bag here. We're seeing Abra. Oh, it could be Sash here. Yes, it is. Is he going to be able to knock this thing out? Is it packing the Energy Ball? No, but Psychic gets the job done. Porygon coming back out. Abra's used up its Sash. Porygon for Envy here. This thing lost its Eviolite, I believe. No, it did not. Mindfu switching in here. Mindfu for Envy here. We see this interaction yet again. U-turns on out. He's going to get some more regen here. Porygon for Luthier. It gets the Regenerator ability now. So it'll get a bit of HP back on this switch out into Mindfu. Envy going into their own does the exact same thing, except it's already at full HP, so switching out here is not going to get many regen. There's a sub from the Mindfu. Envy might be predicting this. Yeah, clicks the Psychic. Expecting this thing to get cheeky. And clicks U-turn, gets on out of there. Porygon for Luthier. A Psychic. No drop. Both players, just 3 Pokemon left here. We see a drop on Envy's Porygon. And a full para. Kind of a crappy turn. Mindfu coming out here for Luthier. On a T-Wave, that's pretty clutch. Gets the high jump kick off. As it still outspeeds through para as the Porygon's also paired. Here's the Abra from Envy, looking to get a big hit off on something. Goes for the Charge Beam. Oh, just trying to go for a full para situation here. Misses the high jump kick. That's nice. Gets the KO with the Psychic. Okay, there might be a way here to Staryu outspeed. Here's the Porygon. Oh, you can't really OHKO the Porygon, can you? No, you can get it low. It's going to drop to a Psychic. And then this Paralyzed Foo. Now, it's at 79%. It's not going to take a hit from this Porygon and the Staryu, though, surely. It's a drop as well. Gets the payback off. Here's the Staryu. 77% and item. Gets the Skull KO. So Luthier getting the win for US West Midwest. We're up 2-0 at this point in the week. Brazil still sitting at 0. Could we see a comeback in the works? We'll have to wait and see. Let's get into the next match here. Alright, next up we have a Generation 9 Little Cup match between Baby Boy Blues from US West Midwest and Dugtrio is Broken from Brazil. Let's get into it here. So, yeah, Baby Boy Blues bringing a pretty fat team, not gonna lie. Both players actually bringing pretty fat teams. I'd say Dugtrio is Broken's team's just a little bit more offensive there, as you have the Shelder as well, and the Gothita looking to trap some things. Other than that, pretty solid defensive core there with the Mudspray and the Fungus, Volibee, and Mindfu. Baby Boy Blues, yeah, bringing a pretty fat team. I was going to start with them, and then talking about Dugtrio's Broken team. What's this thing called? Bramblin? Trying to remember what this thing does. Perhaps we'll find out in this battle what the heck this thing is going to do. It's a Grass Ghost. Yeah, okay, that's an interesting typing too. Might come in handy, I guess. I think it gets Shadow Sneak too, which could threaten that Gothita. We'll have to wait and see. A Mindfu, a Trapinch, very, very strong Pokemon. Also has the Arena Trap ability. Its big downside being it only hits 11 speed. You have a Volibee, Tinkatink, such a cool Pokemon. I fully expect this thing to be swiping some items throughout this match. And a Marini, which is a very fat Pokemon, but is quite afraid of that Gothita. Let's get into it here. Okay, Mindfu lead from Baby Boy Blues. Shiny Mindfu lead from Dugtrio's Broken. Okay, takes a fake out. 13%. And then U-turns on out of there. Maybe we're looking at a fast food here. Tink-a-Tink coming out. Not on a balloon. Takes a knockoff, so loses its Eviolite, and then steals the Eviolite from the Mindfu. Such a good knockoff switch in. Gets up at Stealth Rocks. This Mindfu just goes for the knockoff yet again. Takes away that Eviolite it just gained. So we see some severe item loss so far here. Here's the Mudbray on a Draining Kiss. Bramblin switching in here for Baby Boy Blues. Mindfu for Dugtrio's Broken. Okay, this thing threatening a knockoff. Tink-a-Tink coming right back out here, which still resists a knockoff. So it's still only going to take 14%. And has no item, so it's going to take less damage that way too. Here's the Fungus from Dugtrio's Broken. Another Draining Kiss turn. Okay, Tink-a-Tink already putting in some solid work here. Bramblin coming in here, just in case they want to click Spore, which is exactly what happens. As it is, Grass type is immune. Tink-a-Tink coming back out. Do we see another Spore? Yes, we do. I was thinking maybe they'd just click it again. Mudbray switching in here. Just burn a turn of sleep. Bramblin coming out on the Stealth Rock turn. Does this thing get Rapid Spin? I wonder. Here's the Volibee. And we see a Spike. Okay. And Tink-a-Tink switching in here. On the Braver here, so it can still take hits and steals the Eviolite because it didn't have an item before. Awesome. Gets that thing knocked off again. This poor Tink-a-Tink. Gets a big Draining Kiss off, so it's going to get a ton of HP back. Volibee's low. It's going to die to Rocks next time it wants to switch in. And then unable to outspeed this Tink-a-Tink here. That could have been a speed tie, actually. They're both 16. Here comes the Shelder as well. I just like to pause and acknowledge this comment from turn 15 of this match. Remember, guys, McDonald's causes convulsive diarrhea or whatever that means. I don't know. I don't speak Portuguese, but I think that's Portuguese. I do want to highlight that very pivotal turn in the commentary. Okay. Shelder's going to have to take Draining Kiss. Do we see the Shell Smash here? Yes, we do. Okay. And goes for the Terra Ground. We see Terra Blast here? Yes, we do. So able to knock out that Tink-a-Tink with the super effective ground Terra Blast. Here's the Trapinch, who's Terra Bug, but the Shelder has Protect. So that first impression ain't going to do anything. And now this Trapinch is just stuck as a Bug type. He's going to be able to take an Icicle Spear, barely, and then gets the KO with the Earthquake. Trapinch not going to live another Stealth Rock switch in, though, because it's a Bug type now. Here's the Mindfu. I don't think it would have either way, actually, but there you have it. Gets a Feint off, just as a little bit of a last-ditch effort of doing something here. Drops to a knockoff. Both players with 4 Pokemon left. Here's the Marini for Baby Boy Blues. On a U-turn. Nice having that Spike up. Dugtrio's Broken using some timer there too. Mudbray coming in here on a Sludge Bomb turn. Gets the stamina boost and no poison, which is very important there, as that would have been a 2-hit KO. Here's the Bramblin here. On a Roar from the Mudbray, bringing that Marini right back out. We see that same sequence again. We don't see the Roar this time, we see the Earthquake this time, maybe expecting B-Boy Blues just to stay in an attack. Fungus coming out here. On a Rapid Spin. Okay, this thing does get Rapid Spin after it gets a little bit of a speed boost here. Sets up another Spike. Oh, maybe he's predicting a switch there. Gets up the 3rd layer of spikes here. Okay. Takes a Sludge Bomb, no poison yet again. Strength Sap. Okay, that's going to get some HP back. This Bramblin put in lots of work, honestly. Gets all the spikes up. Rapid Spinning and living hits, too. And still no poison on the next Sludge Bomb. To see another Rapid Spin, we just sacked. To see this thing get sacked here. Drops to a Gig Drain, so Fungus getting a little bit of HP back that way. Here's the Volibee. Threatening a lot of different things here. It goes for the Nasty Plot. On Spore, just kidding, its Overcoat. I think Baby Boy Blues know that the whole time. Waiting for that scenario. Togepi is broken to sacking the Mugberry to a Air Slash. But yeah, this is looking difficult here. Here's the Mindfu, which does outspeed my Volibee. But it's going to live a high jump kick quite comfortably. Get the kill with the Air Slash. I don't think Gothita is going to be able to do much here. You kind of need like a miss or something crazy. You're not going to miss a Dark Pulse here. Gothita is going for the T-Bolt. Doesn't get the kill. Doesn't get a para. So it's going to drop. And yeah, this is done here. You got to miss an Air Slash. And then I don't know what else you need for you. I think this is just done. Yep, there you have it. Air Slash connects. And Baby Boy Blues getting US up 3-0 against Brazil here. So US West, Midwest, the 3-0 lead at this point in the week. Let's get into the next one. All right, next up we have another Generation 9 Little Cup match between Blehay and Skyu. I'm just going to say Sky going forward because my brain just can't say Skyu over and over again. I know I kept screwing it up last time. I covered Team Brazil here, so let's get into it. Another Gen 9 match. That is a Numel. Ladies and gentlemen, that is a Numel. Pokemon we don't see too often. Pokemon I'm a fan of, though. Don't think it gets Eruption until it evolves. Yeah, we'll have to wait and see. But cool Pokemon nonetheless. The downside being it's quite slow at base 14. Luckily, it looks like you might fare okay in this match. You just gotta dodge that Wingull, of course. Luckily, to help support the Numel, you have a Chinchou, which, you know, even if it isn't Water Absorb, it should still be a very effective Pokemon here. We'll have to wait and see, of course. Just an overall pretty fat team from Blehay here. You've also got a Fungus, a Volibee, a Mindfu, and a Mudbray. So a very similar core to the one we saw in the last match from the Trio's Broken. I don't remember which player brought the Mudbray there. So Sky bringing, yeah, a bit more of an offensive team here. Still some fat Pokemon, though. You got the Wingull as well, which I know I have a team using a Wingull. It has a Life Orb on it. I do wonder if it's a same team or similar team, let's say. You have a Volibee, so just a bit of bird spam here. Yeah, I believe he might be trying to get Stealth Rocks up here and try to keep them up. There's no Spin Blocker, though. And there is a Toedscool on the Sky side of the field there. You have a Marini, a Tinkatink as well. We already saw how much of a menace that Pokemon can be in the last match. And then a Mindfu, because you have to have a Mindfu. That's customary. Every team must have a Mindfu in Little Cup. Here's the Volibee lead from Blehay. Volibee lead from Sky. Okay. Sky getting out there. Going to the Tinkatink, which is on a balloon this time. Takes the U-turn, pops a balloon, and is going to steal the Eviolite. I'm sure that was all part of the plan there. In comes the Numel. Alright. Mindfu switching in for Sky. What's this Numel doing? Misses a Will-O-Wisp. That sucks. That would have been a great target to land that thing on. Fungus coming out here for Blehay. Takes the Fake Out. And then takes a U-turn as this Mindfu gets out of here. In comes the Tinkatink on the Sludge Bomb, which it won't take anything from because it's a Steel type. Numel coming out here. What's the Tinkatink going to do? Set up Stealth Rocks. Okay. The Numel going to do the same, or are we going to see another Will-O-Wisp? Wingull coming out on a Fire Blast. That doesn't take much. That Wingull's screaming Life Orb. Gets the Terra Ground off. Oh, and the Terra Grass from the Numel. It's a nice Terra turn there. That is indeed a Life Orb Wingull, which is going to drop to a Fire Blast here. Numel. Hell yeah, man. Volibee switching in here for Sky. Volibee for Blehay. It's going to take all that Stealth Rocks. We're going to take a lot from the Brave Bird there. Gets the Weak Armor boost. Tinkatink coming in here for Sky. That Brave Bird did a lot of damage. Oh, but did lose its Eviolite earlier, that's right. Knocks off the Eviolite that this Tinkatink stole. And then just dies to Brave Bird recoil on the follow-up as the Tinkatink like Draining Kiss anyways. Here's the Mindfu for Blehay. Marini for Skyu. Are we going to see a knockoff on a predicted switch? No, we see Sword Dance. Mindfu does get Swords Dance in this gen. Gets a big knockoff off. Loses to the Violite. Marini clicking Sludge Bomb here, and we don't see a Poison, but that is a 2-hit KO. Tink Tink coming out on a high jump kick. That thing's just going to drop. Bleaky looking good with this +2 Mindfu. Here's the Volibee. Just in case that thing's scarfed, Bleaky getting out of there. On the Brave Bird, Mudbray gonna get a boost there. Probably setting up its own rocks. Here's the Mindfu. Yes, we see the Stealth Rocks here. Sky still has their Rapid Spinner though in the back. In Toad School. Here's the Foongus on a U-turn. Toad School for Sky. Probably looking to pull the trigger on the Rapid Spin here as the Mindfu comes in. And we do indeed see the Rapid Spin. That's going to support the Volibee a little bit better here. It gets a speed boost, so it's going to outspeed the Mindfu now here, but just going to go right into the Marini. Did that outspeed anyways? Oh, it could have been speed tie anyways. U-turns on out. Here's the Chinchou. Toad coming out here on a Volt Switch. The Chinchou does get the Ice Beam. We might see it here. Here's the Mindfu, maybe just scouting. Yes. There's the Ice Beam. No freeze. Mindfu coming in here for Bleaky. Loses its Violate from a knockoff. Marini for Skyu. On a high jump kick. That's still doing some solid damage. That thing did lose its Violate earlier. U-turns on out of there. Foongus for Bleaky. On a Mud Shot. Okay, slowing this Foongus down even more. It's already pretty slow Pokemon as it is. Toad School switching in here. On a Giga Drain. Foongus looking a little bit better here. Sludge Bomb and gets a Poison. As this Toad School just sets up a layer of spikes. Nice late game spikes. Though all of Bleaky's Pokemon are grounded, so that is a very useful thing to have even at this turn in the match. It's an Earth Power Up, which is resisted by the Numel as it's a Grass type right now, thanks to Terra. Dazzling Gleam doesn't quite get there. Dazzling Gleam Toad School, okay. Flame Charge, so Numel's now at +2 speed. So it's going to be outspeeding anything. Do we see a Fake Out from this Mindfu though? Bleaky not taking any risks, goes into the Foongus here. As indeed we do see the Fake Out. U-turns on out of there. In comes the Marini, yet again. On a Spore turn. Mindfu for Sky. Synthesis is up. We'll be able to take on this thing quite well. Gets the knockoff off. The thing loses its Violet, so a little bit easier to deal with now. Gets a Sludge Bomb and no Poison on the Mindfu here. U-turns on out of there, so it can get all that HP back. Here's the Marini yet again. On another Synthesis turn. Match really slowing down here. Chinchou coming out here for Bleaky. Which we know is not Scarfed. It was switching up moves earlier. Takes a Fake Out. Then getting out of there, just sacks the Numel. What's this Foo gonna click? High Jump Kick, perhaps? Yes. And it fails rather than crashing. Foongus comes out here. Lands the kick. Ooh, not quite a 2-hit KO. We do see Giga Drain, so definitely not one now. Back into Marini. On a Giga Drain. Mindfu for Sky. Taking another Giga Drain here. Foongus is looking good. Takes a Fake Out. Match really slowing down. I mean, this Foongus just has like a real stranglehold on the Pokemon that are left for Sky. What's this Volibee at? 66. Maybe just saving that Volibee for the right moment. Just wants a safe opportunity to bring it in. Marini's getting shipped here. Unable to wake up. Drops to another Sludge Bomb. Do we see the Volibee here? Yes, we do. I see Big Brave Bird land on the Mindfu. I think Bleaky just wants that recoil damage on the Volibee. As it takes a bunch there, down to 40%. Again, this is probably a choice Scarf Volibee, just from how it's being played here. Gets another Brave Bird off. That's good to get the Mudbray down. Chinchou should be in range. Yeah, I do wonder if you... What if you sack the Foongus first if it has enough recoil damage that the Volibee drops? Tough to say. I wonder if the order of the sacking of the Pokemon there could have played a part. I don't know. Both these players are way better than me, so I'm not even gonna speculate that. But yeah. Anyways, Sky getting the win for Brazil. So Brazil right back in this. They're down 1 point to 3 at this point. Let's get into the next game. All right. Next up, we have Rare versus Asterion for Brazil. US are up 3-1 at this point here, and we have another Gen 9 Little Cup match here. So 3 in a row for the Gen 9 Little Cup, so that will be it for the Gen 9 portion of this. Let's take a look at Rare's team here. So again, we're seeing that Mudbray, Volibee, Mindfu, Foongus core yet again. And we also see it on Asterion's side there too, so really sticking to those 4 Pokemon here. Now, we're bringing a bit more of an offensive team this time with an Elekid, which hits 20 speed, so it's a notably fast Pokemon in this tier. And a Gothita as well, which often run Choice Scarf, so this can hit 21 speed, I believe. Yeah. Asterion here, like I said, similar core except with a Chinchou and a Sandshrew, a couple fatter Pokemon. Sandshrew does have sweeping potential. It also gets access to Rapid Spin. So we'll have to see how this plays out, of course. Let's get into it here. Mindfu lead from Rare. We're going to see the Mindfu lead from Asterion. Yes, we do. It's a fake out off 13%. And the knockoff. Also doing 13. I'm thinking this is a fast Fu here. And 14% on the next one. We might be looking at a slow Fu here. Misses the high jump kick here, and then gets U-turned. Okay, interesting first couple turns here. Sandshrew switching in for Asterion here. Gets the Ice Shard KO. Wow, that thing was in range. The fans go bonkers. I don't know what they're saying, but probably talking about how US are up 3-0 or 3-1 here at this point. Elekid coming in. Mudbray. We see a knockoff from the Elekid. Okay, that's a good Pokemon to get knocked off, of course. Even with that defense boost. Stealth Rock as the Gothita switch in traps this thing. It is going to drop to an Energy Ball, especially without its Eviolite. So that thing's dealt with. Here's the Sandshrew. Mudbray coming in here for Rare. On the triple Axle. Okay, so with the stamina boost, this thing is going to survive barring a crit, but it's not gonna be able to outspeed the Sandshrew, so we're probably just gonna see the same fall here. No, Foongus coming in. Would that Mudbray have outsped? Oh, no, it would have. Sorry, Sandshrew's slow as hell. Send up Stealth Rocks as the Foongus gets a revenge kill with the Giga Drain here. It's a little bit of a parting gift, but I think Mudbray did its job getting up the rocks there. Foongus coming in here for Rare. We don't see the customary 10 turn of Foongus v Foongus action, but we do see a Spore land on a Sandshrew that actually has the safety goggles item. Yeah, let's see that replay one more time here. So yeah, goes for the Spore. Sandshrew does not fall asleep though. So this is all part of the plan, is Asterion having a good Foongus switch in the Sandshrew there. Gets the Rapid Spin off, gets a speed boost, so it's going to not be outspeeding the Volibee actually, because it's weak armor, as it often is. Mindfu coming in here for Asterion. On a Heat Wave, no burn. Gets a Fake Out off. But Asterion probably looking to get out of here, maybe going to Chinchou. No! Sacks the Mindfu to a Brave Bird. And Volibee comfortably lives the recoil damage there. Here's the Sandshrew, threatening an Ice Shard. Elekid coming in here for Rare. Takes it quite well. Could be a Violite. Maybe not, actually. I mean, I don't know. Volibee is confirmed to be Volt... Or Chinchou is confirmed to be Volt Absorb here. And then gets knocked off. Yeah, we're looking at it probably in a Violite. Elekid here. It's just not a very fat Pokemon. Volibee just getting sacked to rocks here for rare. So the Gothita can be brought in for free. We're going to see a Terra here. We do not. We just see an Energy Ball able to just clean knock that thing out. Here's the Sandshrew. Elekid for rare, just sacking it. On a rapid spin. Okay, so this thing's going to be a little bit faster now, too. It's a very good click, because that would have been a good click on the Gothita, too, anyways. Fungus coming in here on a triple axle. It's not going to live that, especially after that crit. Just had to land that, of course. And always edgy, looking like they're in the driver's seat here. Here's the Gothita. Gonna Terra Stellar. Live the Earthquake. And get the crit on the Terra Blast. That is a Stellar Terra Blast. Fungus coming in here. Not gonna... Needed like a Mega Crit or something there. And it's just gonna drop to a Giga Drain. Pretty cool finish though. But yeah, Asterion getting the win for Brazil here. And just like that, it's 3-2 for US West Midwest. And yeah, Brazil's right back into it here. Just making a little bit of a comeback here. So yeah, 3-2 US West against Brazil here. Let's move on to the next one. All right, next up we have a Gen 8 Little Cup match. So yeah, Sword and Shield. This one is between TKO from our perspective, also known as Illajamos Al Centro. I'm just going to stick to TKO if that's alright. And Mr. Magnus, also known as Jose Palentra. I'm just going to stick to Mr. Magnus if that's alright. Mr. Magnus making the influential McDonald's gives you convulsive diarrhea comment earlier on in this. And now we'll see if they will make that out of their opponent. Okay, I'll stop saying that, but I'm still baffled by the comment. Yeah, so Sword and Shield, we see a Larvesta. We shouldn't be seeing a Larvesta 6 games in here, guys. Alright? Larvesta is legal in every single generation, every single match we've covered so far. Why is this the first time we're seeing a Larvesta? No idea, but yeah, TKO bringing the Larvesta here. Overall, just a really fat team. Yeah, also has the Staryu, the Volibee, the Mindfu, the Porygon, and the Pawniard. Yeah, and Mr. Magnus bringing a little bit more of an offensive team, but still got quite a bit of bulk to it, to be honest. You have the Timber over the Volibee, of course, as this thing gets access to Mach Punch, which could be useful. Also, if this thing ends up being Guts, not really too afraid of that Larvesta switching in. Arya, but they do run Iron Fist as well. There we go. Iron Hands is a Pokemon, is it not? You also got the Volibee, the Marini. We've already seen that Marini can just take hits for days. The Pawniard, Trapinch, and of course an Abra, which might look like it has some obstacles in this one here. If you got 2 Dark types on TKO's side of the field here, so let's get into it. Pawniard lead from TKO. Marini lead from Mr. Magnus. Okay, to set up Stealth Rocks right away, as this Marini just clicks Knock Off, gets rid of that thing's Violite. Gets rid of the Marini's Violite as well, as they just go for Scald. Yep. No burn. So Pawniard still able to put in some work here. Gets an Iron Head off on the Timber, which is of course threatening to Mach Punch here. So Larvesta comes in. And perhaps just trying to bait that thing out, switches back into Volibee. Pawniard coming right back out for TKO on a knockoff. Then right into Staryu, maybe trying to scare that thing out. Doesn't really work though, it's gonna have to take a Brave Bird. But at least Staryu can outspeed here. So Volibee's actually packing the Endure. So takes the T-Bolt, lives, gets Berry Juice. We don't see a... I guess it wouldn't get Weak Armor boost anyways. Recovers up on a knockoff turn there. recovers up again. And crit Brave Bird's gonna knock that Staryu out. That hurts. And the recoil hurts quite a bit, of course, as well. Mindfu switching in here. Marini from Mr. Magnus. High jump kick, doing 26%, not bad. U-turns on out of there. Pawnyard for TKO. Another recover turn. Gets an Iron It off, gets a little bit of chip, maybe predicting a switch there, but this thing's just going to fall to a Scald. In comes the Volibee. Gets a nasty plot off. What's this Marini going to do to respond to that? We see a Sludge Bomb, no poison. Okay, so Volibee looking threatening here. Here's the Volibee from Mr. Magnus. Drops to an Air Slash. Okay, we can see this Volibee putting a lot of work here. Abra gonna need a Sash here. TKO not risking it though, just goes into Porygon on the Dazzling Gleam. Gets a crit. Pawnyard coming in here for Mr. Magnus. And a recover turn. But it's threatening a knockoff here. Larvesta coming out here. It's exactly what you want to switch in on a Stealth Rock turn. Even better, get that thing in before rocks. Especially since that Volibee is definitely not back in the defog. Here's the Marini on a U-turn. So Larvesta going to take a ton from rocks on the next entry, as is this Volibee here. Gets its Berry Juice activated. Air Slash. Gets the flinch, okay. And then Mr. Magnus just getting out of there. Gets some Regenerator. Here's the Trapinch. It's going to be able to take a few Dark Pulses. So Mindfu is going to come in here. On a first impression. Doesn't do much at all, as it's a resisted hit. Marini coming back out here from Mr. Magnus. U-turning out. The Mindfu, that is. Here's the Volibee. Trapinch from Mr. Magnus. Takes the Heat Wave. No burn. It's going to die to another hit, though. But TKO doesn't want it to take a first impression, so the Mindfu is just going to come out. Which is definitely the safest play you can make here. Yeah, Volibee's still going to be at about half HP next time it switches in. Here's the Marini. Mindfu just going to U-turn on out of there. Porygon coming in here, threatening maybe a T-Bolt or something here. Here's the Pawnyard. On a Tri-Attack. Okay. No status. Mindfu coming in here. On a knockoff, so that thing's going to lose its Eviolite finally. Better that than the Porygon, though. Here's the Marini. On a high jump kick. Doing 30%. It's not in range again. Knocked it by a second one. It's going to live the second one, of course. Gets a recover off. So maybe fishing for a crit here. No, just U-turns out. Volibee switching in here. On a recover turn. A big Air Slash off. Marini goes for the Sludge Bomb. Ooh, no poison again. Trapinch getting real low. Just a sack to an Air Slash here. Come on, get the Timber for free here if you want, though. No Abra instead. Porygon comes out. Do we see a knockoff or something here? No, we see Dazzling Gleam. Gets chipped down a little bit. Pawnyard from Mr. Magnus. Another recover turn. Larvesta switching in here for TKO. On an Iron Head, do we see the Flame Body? Yes, we do. Okay, so that's big. Larvesta putting in a little bit of work here. Marini coming in. Do we see a Morning Sun so it can live another hit? Yes, we do. So Larvesta can survive rocks yet again. U-turns on out of there. Gets a crit on its way out, too. Porygon for TKO. Tracing the regen as well. Gets knocked off. Pawnyard coming out here from Mr. Magnus. On a recover turn. Still taking Iron Heads quite well with that burned Pawnyard. Does get the flinch though. Gets it on the second one too. Wow, okay. Ponder getting chipped down by Burn here. Do we see another flinch? Nope. Porygon able to recover that off. Might just go for the KO here. Another Iron Head. Yeah, just goes for the... Oh, not even in range there. Okay. We'll be on the next one, though, but might just recover next opportunity as Mr. Magnus is clearly just sacking this Pawniard at this point. Just trying to get this Porygon as low as you can before losing the Pawniard, of course. It's another flinch. Okay. Mr. Magnus might even just, like, win this interaction from flinches. No, gets the recover off. Porygon's still getting low, though. Flinch here would be nice. Doesn't get it. Okay, so Porygon's up pretty high again. Pawniard's going to drop to Burn, so TKO came out on top that whole interaction there. Here's the Timber. So what's TKO going to do here? Switches in the Larvesta on a Drain Punch. Gets burned. Okay. This is a Guts Timber. I don't know. See a Morning Sun from the Larvesta as the Marini switches in. He turns on out of there. Volibee just going to sack to Rocks. Hopefully Marini clicked Recover. No, click Scald. Porygon switching in here for TKO. Timber for Mr. Magnus. On a Tri-Attack. Timber's getting very low, though. Larvesta switching in here. Just click Drain Punch. Yeah, and that is definitely not Guts. I know it's a resisted hit, but yeah, no, that'd be doing a lot more, so that was an Iron Fist Timber after all. So Larvesta able just to, like, get back up to full HP here with Morning Suns, as this Timber just dies to Burn. Switches into Marini instead, so save that thing as a sack for later. So at least getting a bit of pressure on this thing. Take a Flare Blitz quite well. Return 54 here. Sludge Bomb, no burn on the Larvesta. You turn on out of there. It's gonna die to Rocks though, I think. It's a little cup percentages throw me off. Sludge Bomb on the Porygon. No para. Or not, no poison. I saw the Thunder Wave. Marini gets paralyzed. Making it a little bit easier to deal with. Still fishing for a poison. Doesn't get it. Tri-Attack. Doing quite a bit, actually. This Marini gets fully parried. Timber. Just as a sack. Porygon recovers up. Okay, good play. Right up to 100% here. Marini's back out. Another opportunity to fish for a poison. It's not going to take 2 Tri-Attacks. Do they get it? No, they don't. Wow, no one's getting poisons today. Drops to a Tri-Attack. Here's the Abra. It's got a big uphill battle here. Goes into Larvesta. Does indeed die to Rocks. Let's click Psychic. Here's the Porygon yet again. Traces the Magic Guard. Ooh, drops to a crit Psychic. And then, yeah. Just forfeits. So Mr. Magnus getting the win with the Abra here. Pretty big crit at the end there. Not happy about that Psychic. Yeah, I mean, that was pretty wild. Because, I mean, did this thing have Fake Out? Wasn't revealed. Yeah, I don't know. That's it's pretty crazy. But Brazil just tying this up here. 3-3 now. Okay, so yeah, because this is best of 8, one team just needs to get 2 more wins here. If it's tied at 4 afterwards, then we go to a tiebreaker here. So let's keep going. All right, next up we have DPP Little Cup. This one's between Melon and Mayo. Mayo as Bliar on the opposing side there. Generation 4, no team preview. Let's just get into it. Abra lead from Mayo. fix these dimensions. Whalmer lead from Melon. Gonna take a Grass Knot. And fire off an Earthquake there. Interesting. Activates its Custap and able to get the kill on the Abra with the Earthquake. Cool lead situation there. Here's the Gligar from Mayo. Mantike switching in from Melon. I'm not going to take anything from the Earthquake there, of course. Munchlax coming in here for Mayo. On a Hydro Pump. Still doing close to half, though. Ooh, does Mantike get pursued? Yes, it does. Interesting. That still does quite a bit of damage, actually. Ghastly coming in here. Gets a Rain Dance off. Okay. It's going to survive a Shadow Ball quite well here. How's this all going to pan out here? Bronzor coming in here for Mayo. On a Boom. Still does good 40% though. Gen 4, you're going to be getting a little bit more out of your explosions. Here's a Kabuto, which does get the Swift Swim ability. Able to knock out that Bronzor with a Rain boosted, Life Orb boosted Waterfall. Snover, okay, shutting down that Rain. Switching back out into Mantike here. On a Wood Hammer, that's good to knock that thing out. Snover takes some recoil, of course. Omnimite switching in here for Melon. Ooh, just drops to a Wood Hammer. Okay, are we looking at a Scarf Snover here? Or is that just a Speed Tie? Both Pokemon reaching 14 speed max here. Does that just confirm it? That does just confirm it. We are looking at a Scarf Snover, which is just decimating Melon's team here. Here's the... Oh, wow. Yeah, I mean... When you look at it, though, I mean, it's just water spam, right? So if you can bring in just a fast grass type... Wow, Snover just, like, obliterates that team. Now, Kabuto's going to get the Aqua Jet KO, but it's going to be a climb from here. You gotta get through 3 Pokemon, no rain. Goes to the Aqua Jet. That still does a good chunk to the Gligar, but you needed a crit there. That's going to drop to an Earthquake, and that's game. 14 turns, and that Snover just completely obliterated Melon's team in a very fast Little Cup match here. And all of a sudden, Brazil's in the driver's seat, winning 4 games in a row, rather. They're up 4-3 now, and can win this whole tournament with 1 more victory in this next match here. Let's get into it. All right, last up, we have a Sun and Moon Little Cup match between Vooper from US West, Midwest, and Mats from Brazil. And Brazil up 4-3 at this point. With a win here, this tournament is over, and Brazil's going to take it. And if a US West, Midwest gets a victory here, we're going to go to a tiebreaker series. So, yeah. Anyway, Sun and Moon Little Cup. Let's get into it. So, yeah, pretty neat team here from Vooper, bringing the Onix. Onix getting the weak armor ability, of course. Also gets Sturdy. You might be running that, too. A Munchlax, a Volibee, so good defensive core there with the Fungus on top of all that. Sorry, I got distracted there. Yeah, you also got the Abra and the Magnemite here. Magnemite looking to maybe trap that Pawniard, get that thing chipped, but yeah, I mean, it's probably there for the Pharaoh Seed matchup just in case here. So Matt's bringing, you got a Ponyta as well, which might be Choice Scarf. Could also just be a Violet with Morning Sun. We'll have to wait and see here. You have a Chinchou, which if this thing is indeed Volt Absorb, puts a little bit of pressure on that Magnemite there, and of course the Abra as well in case it's running maybe some electric coverage on that thing. You got the Diglett, which is all likelihood Arena Trap, a Fungus, a Volibee, and a Pawniard. So let's get into it here. Okay, Chinchou lead from Mats, Volibee lead from Vooper. Getting right out of there, going right into the Munchlax on a Volt Switch. And in comes the Volibee for Mats. Switching into Onix here to take the knockoff. It is going to get the weak armor boost, so this Onix is able to outspeed near anything at this point. It would have outspeeded that Volibee anyways. Diglett coming out here on a Stealth Rock turn. Going to be able to outspeed Diglett here, though. Matt's going right out into Pawniard knowing this. And just blows up. Okay. Now this is generation, this is Gen 7, so they ain't going to be doing too much to that Pawniard here. And here's the Magnemite, able to trap this thing, get the Z move off. Gigavolt Havoc's just going to clean knock out the Pawniard here. After it gets up Stealth Rocks, of course. Here's the Chinchou. Just going to Volt Switch out. Just leaves the Magnemite in to take the hit. Gets crit, unfortunately. As both players losing lots of timer already. Already down to 60 seconds, only a few turns in. Flash Cannon lands on the Ponyta. And then Booper switching out into Munchlax here. On a Flame Charge. Okay, so Ponyta's going to get boosted up here. And the Munchlax gets its Berry Juice activated. Switching to Volibee here, takes Stealth Rocks. And this Munchlax begins to start cursing up here. Okay. Volibee wants none of that. Just going to U-turn out of there. Bring in the Fungus. Maybe put this thing to sleep is the answer. Has to take a Double Edge first and doesn't. But it will be able to outspeed the Munchlax the following turn here. Booper knows this, goes right into the Fungus, not getting greedy. Mats goes for the Synthesis. Okay. Cool. Takes a Sludge Bomb from the Fungus. Synthesis is up. Here we go. Fungus v Fungus action. Taking another one. And gets off a Sludge Bomb off of its own. Doing a bit of damage to Booper's Fungus here. Just exchanging blows here. Both of them probably going to Synthesis up on this next turn here. We see that from Booper's. And likewise from Mats as well. In comes the Volibee for Mats. On the Sludge Bomb, gets poisoned. Activates his Berry Juice, gonna take a poison hit, but Volibee right back up to full HP here. Threatening neither a Brave Bird or probably a Brave Bird actually, Sphinx Physical, yep. Gets the Defog off. Gets rid of those hazards. Which benefits both players, I'd say, pretty equally, to be honest. U-turning out of there. Well, actually, probably more Mats. Mats has the Ponyta, it's also weak to Stealth Rocks there. In comes the Chinchou to take the Flash Cannon. We know this Magnemite's not locked in as it had the Z move, but it's going to drop to a Hydro Pump. And was outspeed by that Chinchou. Munchlax's coming out here. Ponyta switching in for Mats on a Recycle, so the thing's getting its Berry Juice back. Not in range to get it activated, though. Here's the Z move from the Ponyta. See the Gigavolt Havoc clean knocks that thing out from 64%. Both players using up their Z moves. Vooper's timer's getting low. In comes the Volibee on the Psychic. Okay, what type of app are we dealing with here? Vooper stays in, just clicks Protect, just to scout, get another poison hit. Volibee's gonna go for the U-turn, not get it off, and then take a poison hit, of course. And maybe that was just to put it in range of Dazzling Gleam. Interesting. Chinchou comes in. Ooh, that thing's barely going to take an Energy Ball. Able to get an Ice Beam. Break a potential Sash on this Abra. No freeze. Gets a crit, though. Fungus coming out here. Ooh, on the Sucker Punch. Yes, Chinchou is packing the Sucker Punch. Does get access to that move, oddly enough. Gets a Volt Switch off. Fungus coming back out here. Not a whole lot of knocking off going on in this battle, I've noticed as well. So yeah, we just got the Fungus Showdown section of this battle here. As is mandatory in Little Cup, where Fungus is around, it seems, anyways. Exchanging some Sludge Bombs, kind of waiting for someone to get a crit or something to happen here. Somebody to switch. Run out of PP one of these years, maybe. I'm going to see them both Synthesis up pretty soon here. There's one from Booper. Yeah, not much going on here. I think I'm going to speed this up. I mean, both players don't really have a reason to switch out here, eh? Keep exchanging blows. Oh, we get a crit on one. So Matt's going to be forced to Synthesis here. The Abra switches in. I'm going to go right back down to slow mode here. The Abra comes out. Now it's threatening this Fungus out. And Matt's just sacks it to a Psychic. I guess he didn't really have another play there, did you? Here's the Diglett, which is faster. We've seen this Abra switch up moves, so we know it's not Choice Scarf. It's going to drop to an Earthquake. Here's the Volibee from Vooper. Ooh, takes the final Gambit and gets its Berry Juice activated. Okay, so Diglett drops on a knockoff turn. In comes the Chinchou. which is faster. It gets the Ice Beam off just in case they want to go Fungus. Maybe this is a Choice Scarf Chinchou actually, just locking into it. Take a little bit of recoil. So Ponyta can come out here. No weak armor activated on this, so Ponyta's gonna be able to outspeed. Get the Flare Blitz. Now, how much HP does that Fungus have again? Ooh, yeah. Is it gonna live recoil? We see the Flare Blitz. Fungus drops, and Ponyta lives with 15%. So Matt's getting a huge comeback victory here for Brazil to win this final series 5-3. We don't see lots of support in the chat there. We don't see this one get tied up at 4. Brazil coming back from 3-0 down to win the Little Cup World Cup. So hope you enjoyed this. Congrats to Brazil, of course. If you enjoyed this video, be sure to like, subscribe, and all that. And yeah, thanks for watching. Peace.